Alright, hey there folks, how you doing today? Hope all is well with you. Bear with the sound of noise going on in the background. There's farming happening right around the corner, and that noise isn't going to go away. We're just going to have to work around it. I do have the microphone up here today, so hopefully it will be at a minimum, but just, you get what you pay for, and this is free. Alright, before we go any further, please be advised, all of these are safe and empty weapons. They've all been checked. There's no ammunition on the table. We're going to keep it that way for today, and that's going to be the extent of clearing procedures for this episode. Alright, so burning through, I'm going to try. You're going to have to bear with some pauses and repetition on this one because the editing process is getting to be a little overwhelming sometimes, and in the interest of getting some content out there, you're just going to have to suffer through me stumbling a little bit, okay? Alright, so that was a prime example of what I was talking about. This is going to be, I'm actually shooting a couple of different parts out here today, so just bear with that. But this first part is going to be in response to this question right here, which was asked just the other day by a fella who wanted to know where I thought the light should be mounted on a weapon. And well, that's a good question. I responded back and said I think that in most circumstances you should mount it in such a way that you can activate the button with the thumb of your support hand, but that's not always the case. And for the sake of this part of the demonstration, we're going to be working with the Surefire 6PX Tactical. It's on a quick release pick rail mount. And as you'll see on the CZ Scorpion, I have it mounted on the right hand side. So I mounted it on this side of this particular platform because, as you can see, when the brace is folded, it puts the light in line with it. And I can't say the words on here because last time it got the video flung into the memory hole, but if you were to have some kind of pack, maybe on your back, and you needed a place to put this, and you decided to put this in the pack on your back, having everything lined up makes for a quicker retraction out of the pack for the platform, okay? So normally speaking, I would have this light mounted over here on this side, but as you could see, that would complicate the profile of the folded brace. Concerning this particular platform, for light manipulation, what I do is I kind of go into guitar playing mode. I'll put a close-up here in just a second. But I wrap my fingers around the light as such, and I can easily activate it with the knuckle of my pinky finger. And having practiced it a little bit, quite proficient to the point of where I like it there. Now that being said, I also really like these quick release mounts because all you have to do is pull the lever and you can take the light right off. Why is that important? Well, let's check it out. Let's come over to this one. This one here got flung down the memory hole too, so I'm not even going to say what it is. But here, let me fold all that up. So with this platform, as you can see, the brace folds in the opposite direction. So the provision for the light that I have on this one is on the same side as the brace, for the same reason that I have it set up the opposite way on the CZ. It's just logistically a little better. Now, that being said, with this one, I have it mounted in such a way that I can easily manipulate the tail switch on the light with my thumb. I typically like to hold the front of the mag well on a platform like this, and I can also very easily press it with the tip of my index finger of my offhand. Either way, it takes a little bit of work getting used to where the push button is located, and you have to practice with it to become proficient. Now I brought this one out here to show you a little different setup. This particular platform right here has the light mounted in very much the same place as how I had it on this one a minute ago. But if you look close, you'll see this one is wired in. I'll show a close-up of that on the video. And it has a remote pressure switch. So I can press the instant on switch with any of these fingers of my support hand, which is really, really convenient. It also has a constant on switch that's very positive. This is a really good manner to mount your light to a weapon. The drawback to this is it does not have a quick release mount, and even if it did, you have this wire to the pressure switch, which is wired in and zip tied into place, and it limits you to keeping the light mounted to your weapon. We're going to talk about that a little bit more here in just a minute. So as you can see on this Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, I have a Surefire X300U mounted right to the pick rail on this platform. This is a designated weapon light also, and it is operated by a flip switch on the back or a pressure switch. This type of light is really limited to weapon mounted use. I suppose you could take it off and hold it in your hand, but it wouldn't be very practical. The button would be difficult to manipulate. And it does have its pros. It's also got some cons. You know, I have a holster specifically for this weapon that I can stick the weapon with the light mounted into it, into the holster, and it's secure. But I'm also stuck using my weapon in conjunction with my light. So, another con to having it that way is if, for whatever reason, you did need to remove the light from the weapon's probably not going to lock into the holster. I'll try to cut a separate little video demonstrating that with another platform here in a minute. So here we have a T-Rex Arms Ragnarok holster and my Glock 19X with the same style Surefire X300U mounted to it. And you'll see here that it requires a considerable amount of effort to shake the pistol free of the holster with the light mounted. It can be done, but you have to really kind of give it a hard shake up and down. That being said, if you take the light off and put the pistol into the holster without it, there's almost zero retention. In fact, T-Rex Arms says on their website that you shouldn't carry the pistol in the holster without the light attached. So that being said, what about something like this? This quick release mount that we have mounted to mounted to the other two platforms. Does it work on a pistol also? Well, let's find out. Alright, so there you have it. I've got the light mounted to the pick rail. If I hold the pistol with a conventional grip or a slightly modified conventional grip, I can easily activate the tail switch on the light while it's securely mounted to the pistol. And also if I choose to, I can operate the pistol and the light together with one hand and have my other hand free for whatever task it might be needed for. But this might not be as ideal as a true weapon mounted system like this X300U, but it still works pretty well and gets the job done in a pinch. This is by no means intended to be an end-all be-all on how to mount a light to a weapon. It's just to give some thought to the process because it came up in the questions, and I just wanted to show you a little bit of how I do it. There are also a couple of other ways to mount them. I've got them on a couple of platforms that I left over at the house today, so I'll have to take still pictures and superimpose them right here. But on my Mossberg Shockwave, you can see how it actually has the TL Racker replacement forend mounted on it. There's actually a separate video that describes that in great detail. And also on this Mossberg 500 that I have set up for home defense, I have a very similar light setup to the one that is on this dedicated weapon light mount on this Freedom platform here. So that's all I had for this portion. I know the editing's pretty dry on this one, guys. I apologize for that, but I wanted to get the content out there. So stay tuned for the next episode. Take care. God bless.